You see me?
I see you. Can you see me?
Yeah. I don't just want to. Let me.
I see you got new artwork up.
That's old artwork.
Must have been in a different room. I don't remember that being there.
This is living. Well, this has been here. You haven't been in my house in a long time.
I feel like maybe you haven't recorded in your living room in a while.
Yeah. No, I haven't. But like even when I have, I don't think I've said at this angle.
Oh, perhaps so. I like it. I see there's a fist in the back. Does that drawn by anyone? Was that a child art that I'm looking at?
I made that.
All right. Okay. Property Ebonics.
We're not drawing artists, but we are comedic artists.
Comedic artists, fashion artists. I feel like my fashion's kind of art.
So this is the comedic fashion podcast, Proper Ebonics.
Yeah. I'm not my comedic, I'm not my fashionable best right now, but I'm very warm. There's like a little first off, welcome to Proper Ebonics. It's been a few weeks. Hello. There's a little bit of a winter squall outside. It looks like it may slow down. It was flurrying a bit here in Downingtown. So I guess it means it's probably cold outside. I haven't been outside all day. But I hope people are staying warm.
You know what? Yesterday was an interesting temperature day. It was like 45 degrees like early in the morning. And then like at afternoon it was like colder. I was like, what the hell is going on today?
Luckily you're able to, it looks like you heated it up on stage. You're able to heat things up that way from last night.
Oh yeah, man. Last night was dope, man. I got to feature Tommy Davidson at Soul Joe's, man. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, man. Like luckily it was two shows and I was able to record both sets. So that was good. Nice.
Which one do you enjoy more? First set or late set?
First set had more people, okay. But the late set, it was like everything was fine-tuned. So it's kind of like I wish I could like combine the footage. I mean, but it was great, man. Like it was I always enjoy it's one of my favorite things about comedy. It's just watching like people that have been doing it for 30 years and been headlining forever all over. Like watching them work is just like, yo, I got to get there. You know what I mean? Like that's one of my favorite things about comedy. Like you can just sit and like just be a fan. Cause I don't go to comedy shows that I'm normally not on normally, but like just to sit and watch somebody like Tommy Davidson just work, act out, man, it was dope. I had a good
He's
night.
On another level. I feel like I would close my eyes and then have it be like Oscar Proud is performing stand-up comedy. If I hear Tommy Davidson, like that's where my brain will take me. That aside, he is obviously a very well-known and a very good performer. I feel like that's an understatement, but the people that know who he is know what's up.
So even when you say a good performer, people don't understand. I don't think a lot of people understand what you mean. Like we're performers, but like he's someone that his act outs is like he acts out. He has characters. He does voices. He does like he's really performing. He's not just telling jokes. You know what I mean? Like, and I was saying that last night. Like, yo, man, I gotta get more. Like, I'm not a very active comedian on stage. I have a couple act outs, but like that would take things to like another level to be able to just have some kind of act out that's funny. With like every joke, like, it's like it wasn't like I don't remember seeing him just like tell a joke. You know what I mean? Like he told it, then he showed it. Like that's just how it went. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's cool seeing that, like when people are really good performance artists, I don't know if that'd be the best way to phrase it, that a lot of their act is not dependent on the performance, but it enhances it. Like it's something that they're able to add to it and be consistent for 30 to 45 minutes. And I feel like he's one of those performers. I'd say up there with like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, they were on the show together, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Like, I wonder if my brain made that connection without realizing I made that connection. I was like, oh, why am I thinking Jim Carrey? Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, so it's you can see that it's very characteristic. Like that's the word. There's a lot of characters. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I'd say characteristic. Yeah, I think that's spot on with that. We're both coming off
Yeah,
coming off quite the week.
Yeah, man. I wanted to talk to you about it because I don't think we talked about it when you got back, man. But tell me about San Diego. Like, what was SoCal like, man?
SoCal was pretty cool, man. I'm a SoCal boy. It was nice, man. I think we talked before about there were so many obstacles with actually getting out there, like not being sure if it was. I think even when we last recorded, I was like, "There's maybe a chance that it won't happen," but lucky everything lined up. I was able to get on a total of 4 planes, that's a lot. But
wait, the one way or like both ways you had like a layover?
Both ways, yeah, both ways from there. So going there was, so you had to go to Portland, or no, you had to go to where was it? Phoenix, Arizona, and then from there go over to San Diego. So that's 2 planes. Had latex gloves and all that stuff. Once actually doing it, I felt a bit more secure, and it looks like they take the measures, but you never really know with these things. But it was good. It was good, man. It was all me, solely funded, which sounds. I didn't realize till afterwards. I like tallied up all of the expenses, and then I was like, oh yeah, I'm not splitting this with anyone. The Airbnb isn't like a thing. This is straight up like whatever I want to do, I'm doing, and I'm funding it, which I thought I took a little pride in that. The place is cool. Everyone was super welcoming. The show, that was fun. The comics, they were really cool. Like being able to hang afterwards. I don't know. I didn't expect to. I shouldn't say I didn't expect to mesh so well with the comics, but afterwards they were just super cool and welcoming. Like we felt like we were buddies. They invited me out to a second spot and all that. It was nice.
It's crazy how comedy literally makes you like, it's like your blood now. It's like your family. You know what I mean? It's like you're a comedian. We may not even know each other, but it's all love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I wonder what my social life would have been like in adulthood without comedy. Ever think about that sometimes? Or like, would I be like in a kickball league? Like, what would be? I guess I'd have a lot of like mainly like friends from like my childhood or high school, but making friends in adulthood and doing comedy, it makes that a little bit easier. Plus, you're showcasing your full self most of the time. So even just like for non-comics, you're presenting yourself, and it makes it easier to almost relate to people. So that part's cool. I didn't go to the second spot that they mentioned. Shout out to Madhouse. I was gonna go, but then the audio dude, it was my first day there. He described it as like, oh yeah, it's kind of like a cesspool for COVID. And I was like, all right, well, maybe for the first day, I'll kind of like, so didn't do that. Checked out the zoo and all that. That was amazing. Shout out to Balboa Park. That was really cool. Free skates. I won't even get into free skates, but if you know what free skates are, it's very difficult. And shout out to those boys out there. I had to sign a waiver, and they let me just rip stick and free skate throughout the park. That was nice. Friday, I actually did want to talk to you about this. So I told you I was going to go into like in the kayaking with the whales. That was one of the big things.
Yeah, and you remember I was against that. I was like, that sounds pretty scary. Kayaking next to whales.
So I didn't do the kayaking with the whales because I did take a little bit of that. I was like, all right, that's a little, and I wanted to be able to do all things. And I kind of want to go into a cove. They have this cove there that's like formation of like, I think they said 10 billion years it's been there. Yeah. And I was like, that'd be kind of cool to go into a cove. So I'm paired up with a random person, and we're the first ones because you have to go one by one, each group. Right. We go into the cove kayaking, and a guide is there with us, like just he's swimming behind us, like because he had to push the thing. We were like, oh, how come we're not going? And it's like, no, you just have to go harder to get into the cove. We're into the cove. It's beautiful. It's majestic. It's very nice. It's like, whoa, I'm really in the world right now. That was very
like,
nice.
I'm in Earth.
Yes, exactly that. And like he's telling us like stuff about the cove, and I'm taking some of it in, but I'm mainly like, damn, I'm in a cove right now. And also the waves coming into the cove, the one that we just bypassed, we had to now go past it again, going the opposite way, which was difficult. So we got our helmets on, all that stuff. We're going through. I have a little system for us, like 1, 2, and that helped us. Luckily, we go past and we make it through. Past big waves, got through. The second group, not so lucky. They go in, and we notice like, oh, they've been in there for about 20 minutes now. And the other guide, she's kind of panicking. She's kind of like going to like the side. She's on her cell phone, whispering. They had to get like the EMTs, which comes through via jet ski. That was kind of wild to see. The pair that went, the young couple, they go into the cove, and I guess while trying to go out, that part with the waves crashing in, it flipped the kayak over, and the dude, I guess was guiding it. The guy in the pair, he like crashed his foot because like I saw him afterwards, and he had like a bloody foot. So they had to do a whole thing, and no one on the group was able to go in the cove afterwards. Like that was the end of the whole Airbnb experience. Like that was, they were like, we can't do this anymore. So out of the group, only my partner and I were able to go and see. Well, the other couple, they stayed in there for quite some time. They got the full experience. But in terms of the whole successful experience, did that, and that was quite the trip.
That's crazy that y'all made you cheated death, Kirk. You just made it.
You know, I wasn't able to cheat though. So I have I got like this little bag, like a not a throat wallet, like a neck wallet to put the phone in. And I was like, all right, you know, I've kayaked before. I don't think we'll flip. And while my partner and I, since everyone was still waiting while the EMT was there, she had to go to do like a Falcon experience. So we were like, can we leave? Yeah. So we go separately, maybe like a mile kayaking, and we're talking, having like, oh, you know, you're from there, I'm from here. Yeah. And then in the middle of whatever we were talking about, a wave just, so we fall over now near the beach. The phone is in the thing. It's not waterproof. So like my phone, it like, I want to say like maybe 15 minutes later, the battery just goes plump. And then I try to charge it, and then it starts alarming, like, don't do that. There's moisture in your port.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And this is on a Friday. So luckily, resource navigation wise, was able to find a Best Buy, got like a wireless charger, put it on there. And then by then the water got out, and then all was good. I was able to see some sea lions.
Wait. So when you flip, like, what happened? Somebody come save you? Like, what happened?
I flipped. I said, whoa, and then got up and flipped the kayak back over.
Were you able to stand up?
Yeah. So it was near the beach. So I should note that when you get closer to the beach, that's when the tides start getting a little bit heavier. I don't know if that's the best way to phrase it.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So we were like in shallow water, probably like 4 feet at most. But I twisted my ankle because I was like, once I noticed we were tipping over, I was like, all right, hold this bag up super high. And then I was like, all right, make sure to get your footing. So I slammed my foot on the ground, and that definitely twisted it a little bit. I was like aching for a bit, but it worked out. But the phone, it got a little bit of damage. That little wallet kind of helped out. There's a little snafu, but 2 hours later, was able to make it work.
Yo, good thing you weren't the one that flipped over in the cove, because you wouldn't be able to stand up.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering, because the dude's foot was bloody, and he was saying like, he crashed, and then they didn't have, I don't know if they had the kayak, because the other trainer, the guy, came out with the kayak. So I think they were just like standing on a rock.
Yeah.
Which was kind of wild. Yeah, that's crazy. That would have been like, especially if you're claustrophobic and like you're doing this, is like, you know what, I'm going to conquer my fear. I'm going to try this out. I'm here with my boyfriend, sort of thing. And then that happens. That's bonkers. I'm sure they got some nice photos.
I don't know if you saw this. I don't think you did, because it was like, I was on Twitter. There was someone, they were like, I don't know where they were in the world, but they were in like one of those cove things, like kayaking through the water. Nice. And like piece of the cave like fell down. Like a big rock fell down. It killed 2 people.
Oh, that's the one in Brazil.
That was Brazil?
Yeah, so I did see there. So it was like they were coming out of like a cove, and then on the way out, a large fraction of it. And I did see that, because I heard there was a fatality. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Even to be injured by something like that, that's like,
it's insane. It's like Mother Earth, like, yo, get out my house, dog. Like, it's crazy.
Would you, and I feel like I know the answer to this, would you kayak through a cove?
Yes, I would kayak through a cove.
Okay.
Yeah. And the only thing that worried me was the whole kayaking with whales thing, because my first reaction was like, whales be jumping up and splat. Like, when they just jump up, flip us all over, and then we're in the whale's mouth. Like, what happens then?
I feel like there's a way. I mean, you may have some more experience, because you were able to meet one of the goals, my friend. From what you described, I want to hear a little bit about your trip and your whale experience.
Oh man, listen, yo, Cabo San Lucas, Mexico was amazing. It was amazing. Like, bro. So one of the things they tell you though, like we read it online, the resort told us when we got there, there was like, these beaches around here not really meant for swimming. Like, just don't go in the water, what they pretty much told us, because you know how most beaches like gradually get deeper and deeper. They said this beach is just a cliff. So it's like you'll be walking, and the next thing you know, you just in the cliff, and then there's like crazy riptides and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Damn.
So I was like, all right, so I'm not gonna go on the beach. So, bro, literally from the beach, like from our hotel, like our room faced the beach. From our hotel room, you could just fucking see whales, like jumping, shooting water out their hole. Like it was insane. I literally out their hole, what's their orifice, whatever it's called. and I literally was thinking, I was like, damn, Kirk out there kayaking with whales right now. That's literally my first thought when I seen whales. I was like, Kirk out there because I couldn't imagine being out there while they were just like flipping around, jumping around. I was just like, no way. No, and like there's no way I could be out there with whales right now. So like
I feel like they have some sort of not resistance towards like humans or when they see boats, but they have the wherewithal to recognize like, oh, let me not bump into that. I would imagine.
Do they? Like who told you that?
Smart like that.
Who? People are smart, but people kill people. Okay. I don't want no. I'm okay on a nice sized boat, but I'm not sitting out there in a kayak with whales. And I just watch how they act. They literally just flop around.
Yeah, I feel like some of them are playful too. I was glad you were able to see whales because I was like, that was one of the main things out there. But I saw some of the prices, and I was like, well, I don't want to do the whole trip just being in the water the whole time. I kind of want to be able to get a mixture. So ultimately decided. Also, Mexico, you're more likely, because it's Mexico, you're more likely to see the whale. San Diego, it's like a hit or miss. Like you may pay $98 and just see a dolphin. Yeah. So I was like, maybe. So I was glad when you sent that. I was like, all right, nice.
Yeah, man. Because I don't know if you know like where Cabo is located, but it's you look at that on the left side of Mexico, the west side of that long peninsula on the west side of Mexico. You look at the map. Hold on, it's you can't see it on this map.
That's Arizona.
It's like over here. It's like the map is kind of messed up because you can't see the whole Mexico. But like where Cabo is, it's like the southernmost point of the western peninsula of Mexico. So it's just like, it's just out there that's the ocean, my nigga. Like out there is the ocean. So it's like the whale, and actually the water was deep, close to the beach. Like so, it's like whales are out there. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure sharks are out there. Like, yeah, man. We had a near death experience though. Like
near death.
Yeah. So it was like 12 of us out there, whatever.
I was gonna say, did you go with the group or was it just your girl?
So we all met in Mexico. So like my girl, her homie was her birthday. So it was like some people were from San Fran, people from Chicago, like Florida. Like so we all like met in Cabo at this. We all stayed at the same resort. You know, it was like a whole group thing, whatever. But like the one day we all went and rode ATVs. You ever rode ATVs, like four-wheelers?
No. Those scare. Those are my whales. Those scare me.
Bro, listen. So look. So my girl, right? She's terrified when I'm driving a car, right? So like, she's on the back of my ATV, and there was like they split us up into groups, and I can tell the instructor was like clearly misogynistic because like the experienced group was just all the male drivers. You know what I mean? So it's just like he was like, oh, you four, you follow me, and we had like went on to like a different, more advanced course. And we're riding through the desert, through mountains, and it's like, and so it's like 4 ATVs ahead of me and my girl, and through the desert, which means there's just sand everywhere. Like, so it's just sand in my face, and the only way I can tell like the person I was following, because they had like a bright green helmet on. I was like, okay, there's the helmet. You know what I mean? I'm just like following it, and it was, and the tour guide told us like when you're going around the curves, slow down around the turns, because if you don't, you'll go off the cliff. Like
off the cliff.
You'll go off the cliff. That's literally what he said to us. So you better slow down. And he told my girls, like, since you're on the back, you gotta turn with him. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, you're not holding on tight enough. You know what I mean? You might.
Oh gosh.
So my girl, right, terrified, like, and she had every right to be. Like, it was extreme, and we were going like fast, and it was crazy. And it was like sand everywhere. Like I took my helmet off. I had like sand in my beard. It was like sand everywhere. And I'm trying to keep it cool because like I got control of it. Like I know, like I got it. You know how you got it. You know what I mean? Like I had it. Like I wasn't, but she wasn't driving, so she didn't know that I had it. You know what I mean? So like we get back and everybody was talking about the same thing. Like, yo, man, this shit was crazy. It was wild. So my girl was like, yo, I'm pretty sure somebody died doing this before. Like, she was like, I'm pretty sure somebody. So we literally like Googled it. It was like ATV deaths in Cabo. You know what I mean? So I can't make shit up. No, after doing it.
Okay.
Because afterwards we were, I was like, yeah, it was crazy. Like, dog, I can see someone getting hurt. Like it's insane. Like, so then that we get back to the resort, another couple, they had like flew in from Chicago. They didn't go ATVing with us, right? And one of the chicks, she was like, I heard y'all went ATVing. She was like, I had a bad experience with ATVing, but I didn't want to tell y'all because I didn't want to scare you. And the story that she told us was that one of her friends died ATVing in Cabo.
Oh no.
In Cabo, died ATVing.
Damn, that's some resistance on our end, because that's like, you not only are you guys doing the activity, you're doing in the same location. Ooh.
Me, I'm like, listen, like in the back of my mind, I didn't say it, but in the back of my mind, I was like, you should have told us this. This is something you should, like, I'm not gonna be like, well, I don't want to ruin your time. Like, no, ruin my time.
Ruin my time so I could have more time, please. I like that. I don't want to derail, but I'm curious, how fast, when you say you got it, like how fast do you feel you're going? You talking like 40 miles per hour, 50?
Easy.
Oof.
So there was one time the tour guy was like, you know, we're gonna go on. He's like, go a good speed, don't ride too close to somebody, make sure you slow down around the turns. But he was like, there's gonna be one place, it's called like on the river basin. He's like, the river basin is the only place you can speed. He said it's just open, flat land. And he was like, when we get there, you're gonna know it. So we get on this, it's like a beach. It's literally like a beach with the soft sand, not the hard stuff that's wet. And everybody just starts bawling. And I'm talking, they had to be going at least 70, right?
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, this is the river basin. And I tried to like go faster, but I had less control because the sand was soft.
Yeah.
Like on the route we were taking, the little the whatever it's called, the trail, it was like hard dirt. But this river basin was just sand, and I had no control over the ATV. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going that fast. They had to wait for us because I was like, there's no way I can like when I know when I don't have control, and I feel like I had no control on the soft sand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like running in soft sand. It's very difficult. Yeah. And also, you got to watch out for quicksand. You don't know what's quicksand will disguise itself in soft sand, so you got to be very careful with that.
Yeah, dog, it's shit. And then my girl was like, I'm never doing that again. And I was like, I don't blame you. It was, and then to know someone died in Cabo.
Yeah. Would you do it again?
Me, yes.
Yeah.
I would do it again. Like, I'm cool. Like, I had it. Like, but I know she couldn't tell I had it. You know what I mean? And she's already the kind of person that like doesn't like, she's not a thrill seeker like I am. You know what I mean?
I wonder what it would be like if you switched for a little bit, like, oh, you drive, and then she had an opportunity to have it. I wonder, would that change her perspective at all?
And I would not get on the back of that thing if you drive. Absolutely not.
Damn. Being on the back is definitely, that's some like, you're putting not necessarily your life at risk, but you're putting it all on the other person. Like it's all trust at that point.
That's it. Yeah. It's just trust.
Yeah. That's how, like, I shouldn't say never. I would ride a jet ski. They terrify me though. Something about motor vehicles in different terrains that I'm not used to. Like roads in itself is just, still a very kind of a nerve-wracking experience when you think about it, because there's a bunch of other people out there and you're just trusting them. In theory, you should think like airplanes would be the safer one, or trains, where it's like, all right, one person is controlling this, we're on a path and there's a system for it. Cars and ATVs and jet skis, it feels like we don't need a dolphin. We may hit a dolphin on this one. There may be some sort of like tremor that pops up in the middle of the ATV experience. How terrifying that would be if you see a tremor out there. Like, nuts.
Yo, I can imagine hitting a dolphin. It'd be like on like BMX off-road, do a flip or something. That'd be crazy.
Imagine like you're going like 40 miles, 60 miles per hour jet ski, and then like you think if there's like a little ramp coming up, but it's just a family of dolphins. Nuts. And they're smooth too, so it would feel like a ramp.
like a speed bump.
Yeah. Now it sounds fun. We're like glorifying what could be a horrible experience.
Running over dolphins.
They're smart. They would avoid it. They'll be okay.
Here you go, thinking everybody's smart, man. You know, something coming at you 90 miles an hour. You ain't. I don't care how smart you are. If you can't move way fast enough.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I'm happy with the experience I had. I'm glad that you had a good experience too. It was cool that we were both on mutual or on different trips at the same time, sort of thing.
And I was thinking about it. We weren't that far from each other.
I know, you know what I
mean? Like I was like, yo, Kirk is right up there.
You're looking at the whales. You see someone coming up in a kayak. what the
hell? It's so good. One another thing that was like very intriguing to me is like second to last night we had like went out. They got like a little club area, so we had.
I saw you getting jiggy, bro. I saw that little video.
The video was deceiving because like so the club was cool because like you order your drinks and like this like the middle of the club is inside, but the rest of the club is outside. So like I was recording from the outside, so it wasn't like we were like in this crowded bar area. We were like had our own table outside. You know what I mean? So it was nice. It was cool. It made me feel safe. But one thing that was insane was how open they are down there with drugs. Like I've never been offered so much coke in my life. You know what I mean? Like people were. It was dudes like. You remember the movie Hangover when the monkey? Remember the monkey from Hangover?
Hangover 2? When they're in Thailand?
I think it was number 2. Yeah, and they were in Thailand. Yeah. There was like a monkey, like a drug dealing monkey.
I do remember.
And he was like, the monkey was like running all over the city, like just with drugs and delivering drugs and shit. And that's what it felt like. It was like a bunch of people just like running everywhere, just got drugs. I got this. I got that. I got that. A guy like opened up a coffee cup and it was like drug. He's like, you want this? I'm like, no, man. Like, thought that was. But it was an espresso. Like,
is it just like random dudes, like say, like in that club environment, or was it like if you go to a pharmacy, the cashier would be like, "Yo, you want this as well?" Like, what sort of groups were presenting this to you?
It was around a club environment. So, like most of the time, we were at the resort, or we went to a restaurant, or we went to a destination. But when we went to the club scene, there was like bars and clubs all on this like one strip. You know how like South Beach would be, where like just a bunch of, and it was like that. And when we got down there, like, yeah, they were. The crazy part about it was like there was cops everywhere, but it was like, oh, this must just be allowed. You know what I mean? Like, is the cartel running all this? Like, what's going on?
Well, we say that jokingly, but
no, I'm serious.
Yeah. Exactly. That's it. That could be a very real thing. That's I'm not like a drug person like that, but I feel like even in that sort of situation with everything going on with like fentanyl, I don't know how you kind of accept it from like a random person, and that it feels like you almost need to like test anything you get off the street. But I don't know, I'm not into the culture heavy like that, but I was reading stories.
I'm not a like weed. I've gotten weed from strangers around the world. Like I've done that. Like that's one of my favorite things to do is to go find the weed at in the off beaten path of a city I go to. Like I probably shouldn't, but I just enjoy that. Like I feel like I like connecting with the people and the culture. I'm just like, you know, I don't know. It's something weird I like to do.
Some people go to cafes. Some people get that kush. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, but I can't imagine like I don't do coke, never have, but I couldn't imagine doing something that dangerous because you don't know. Like,
yeah, and I feel like weed's not as readily laced. Like I feel like there's stories of like maybe people like PCP in it. I don't know if fentanyl works in the sense if you put fentanyl in weed.
I've heard of it before, but I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, why would you waste your fentanyl on weed?
It's the same. Well, same thing with when people put like rat poison in weed. I don't know if it's a matter of like we want to infiltrate a particular area, and by doing we'll put a weed out in a particular area with rat poisoning or even fentanyl. Yeah. But I always wonder that too, of like, why would you put that in weed? What's the reason? You're wasting the weed? Are you making money off of it? But I'm sure there's some ominous motives behind that.
Yeah,
it's terrifying, man.
Yeah, it is, man. So say no to drugs, kids. Say no to drugs.
Yeah, shout out to Cabo, shout out to San Diego. It was a long flight.
How long was it?
The first half was like 5 hours to get to Phoenix, and then it's about like another hour to get to San Diego. It felt longer on the way back because like I did check in like maybe 30 minutes after you're allowed to, which I was like, oh, early, not early enough. There's only middle seats available for the 5 hour flight back. So it was like middle, two larger men to both my sides. There was like a group of schoolgirls behind us. I was like, let me go in the back because there's probably going to be empty seats. On the way there, that was the case. There was this empty aisle and I was just chilling. I was sleeping. It was nice. On the way back, though, not so much. Full plane, and it was a group of high school girls just being very just obnoxious.
Yeah,
like, this is the party scene. I'm like, please don't make it the party scene. They made it the party scene, so that was a bit annoying, but was able to make it back. Came back to a flat tire, which
shit.
My shout out to Ray. I left my car over my friend Ray's place, and he texted me that I guess there was like a nail in the tire. I called roadside assistance from Cali. They were able to come put in a spare. I was like, damn, I was real slick with that. I was like, not going to ruin my Thursday. And it didn't. But I came back on Sunday and it was midnight by this point, and I'm driving and I'm like, and it was snowy out too. That's the thing. We missed the storm. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's a little weird. And then maybe less than a mile, I pull over and realize the spare is also flat. So yeah, so I had to like then go back over to Ray's. Luckily, I had off the next day, so I just stayed over Ray's, then got the tire replaced with a new one the next day. So that worked out, but it was a little hiccup after a trip, but that's okay.
Yeah. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Yeah,
it's a nice little bump.
Now I want to talk about some weapons that have been formed. It's because first of all, it's Black History Month. You're saying we got the where's it at? We got the how do you point to it? There we go. We got the Black Power fist. Oh. Right there, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to point to the fist, but Black History Month, and on the first day of Black History Month, NFL coach Brian Flores sued 3 teams for racism during the head coaching hiring process.
Brian Flores. I'm looking up this interesting. Listen. Oh, I've seen this person.
This been like I'm an ESPN Sports Center. I watch all the programs throughout the day. Like, it has been the hot topic in sports this whole week. The first day of Black History Month, this man came out and suing the NFL, rightfully so, because saying that is racist practices happening towards Black coaches in the NFL. Like, there is only one Black coach in the NFL. It's 32 teams, one Black coach, but the NFL, the players are 70% Black. You know what I mean?
That's optic wise not great.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like there's actually a rule in the NFL. It's called the Rooney Rule, where teams are supposed to or required to hire one minority candidate per head coaching vacancy.
Okay.
But what has been happening is they have just been doing that one interview as a check mark. Like, okay, we interviewed our minority. Let's go get the white guy we want.
So it's a matter of like interviewing, but not necessarily having them on the team. I see. Okay.
Right. So what's been happening is they essentially just been doing it just to fulfill the rule. Like, you know what I mean? They're not doing it with good intentions. They're not like going at it like, yo, let's give him a shot. They're literally just like, yeah, we want this white guy. And the problem is, what happened was this coach Brian Flores got all this evidence. Ooh. Like another coach, like, so Brian Flores was going to interview to be the coach of the Giants, right? He had an interview on Thursday. Like, on Tuesday, another coach messaged him, the coach from the Patriots, Bill Belichick, messaged him and was like, congratulations on getting the Giants job.
Oh.
And he was like, wait, I got it? Like, how'd you hear that? I didn't even interview yet. So he was like, yeah, I just got word. Good job, Brian. And he was like, coach, this is Brian Flores. Are you talking about Brian Daboll, the other Brian who interviewed for the job? He was like, and then Bill Belichick messaged back like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry.
Oh, goodness.
I fucked up. I messaged the wrong person. So when I seen that, I'm like, oh, so it's solidified that Brian Daboll got the job before they even interviewed the Black dude.
Damn. Belichick, he was Patriots, right? He was the head coach there.
He is the coach of the Patriots. Like, I don't even understand how he knew. Like, which means there are these backdoor dealings that go on, and the Black guys are kind of left out of it. There's, all the owners are white. Every single team has a white owner, so it's just kind of like,
Do you feel that was one of those like incidental mistakes? Well, of
Yes.
like we did it on purpose and try to frame it as a mistake.
No,
in
no,
terms
no.
of Belichick.
No. He did it by accident.
Okay.
Like, because the dude Brian Flores posted it's like a 60-page summary of the lawsuit, and like it has pictures of the text message. And Brian asked him, was like, "Are you talking about the other Brian?" And he said, "Oh, like there's no this is definitely incriminating the NFL and Bill Belichick. He would not do this to himself on purpose."
That's a bit of a doof move. It feels very almost like high school girlish, of like almost send a message of something that you don't want the person to hear, but really you do want them to hear, but you're able to send it as a mistake, so you're able to frame it in a very blunt way, because it's like, oh, I did this by mistake. I would otherwise consider your feelings. I feel like that is a thing that happens. So that was the first thing that came to mind when I heard that he may have sent that on purpose.
No, you ever be like talking about someone, so their name's in your head, so you might put their name into the text space. You're right. Like, oh shit, I'm talking about them. I want to send it to them. I don't think this is one of those. Like, I think he got two Brians in his phone, because they both used to be coaches, his assistants, so he knows them both. He just literally just texted the wrong one.
He didn't text the one with the dolphin emoji next to it. Brian dolphin emoji. He didn't go for that one. That's the extent of my knowledge of.
So look,
it's because I Googled him just now.
So look, that happened, and then the Dolphins, the coach who got fired by the Dolphins after 2 back-to-back winning seasons, which is the first time that's ever happened in history. Like, you just fired a coach who had back-to-back winning seasons. Like, what do you want this man to do? You know what I mean? So
wait, did Brian Foles, he was fired as well, or is this a different coach?
Brian Flores, he was fired this year by the Dolphins
after winning back-to-back.
After 2 back-to-back winning seasons, which has never happened ever. He was only a coach there for 3 years, and his second and third year were good, and they fired him. That will never happen to a white guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of football that much in depth. That does sound off of like someone, because obviously the goal is to win. When you say back-to-back, you mean like in their divisions, or did the Dolphins win Super Bowls recently?
They didn't win the Super Bowl, but so last year their record was like 10-6 or something. It was a winning record. Okay. And then this year it was like 9-7. It was like a winning record, which for the Dolphins hasn't been happening. So he came in and looked like it was from the outside looking in. Well, from the outside looking in, it looked like it was turning around. And then he just got fired. Like, to end this past year, his team finished the season 7-1. Like, out the last 8 games, they won 7 of them.
Huh.
And he got fired. Like, that's insane. It's unheard of.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see more players transition into league owners and league, or not even, if not owners necessarily, the coaches. Like Donovan McNabb. Is he a coach for anything?
No, he's not. I don't know. I don't know if he would be a goat, but he's not. I think he was a commentator. So like a lot of players go into commentating.
Yeah, and that's cool too. But like Warren Sapp, is he a coach for anything? Damn.
Commentator.
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal. I don't think he ever like coached anything either. You would think that'd be a more common thing. That's wild.
This is what happens though.
Also, I'm aware of Shaquille O'Neal is a different sport. I want the people to know that. That was not I'm aware of this.
No, I knew you knew that. I wasn't even going to say it. I was like, he has to know that. He has to know Shaq is a golfer. Like, no, but look, this is what happens from the top down, right? You got a white owner. The white owner hires the white general manager, who then hires the white coach. So like, it's not like there's not enough. Like, there are eligible Black coaches. They're there. It's just like they'll be like, so you're like, so you get the general manager, then the head coach, and under the head coach you'll have like the coordinators, offensive, defensive coordinators, special teams coordinators, and then the coordinators get promoted to head coaches. So you have like a lot of Black coordinators whose team, some of the best team, like the last 2 Super Bowl winning teams had Black offensive coordinators who can't get head coaching jobs. Like, your team is the best team. You call the plays for the best team, but you can't get a job. So it's not that. And these are ex-players: Byron Leftwich, Eric Bieniemy. They played in the NFL. They got to the coordinator position, but in order to get hired to be a head coach, you got to be hired by the GM, who was hired by the owner, who all are white. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so they're comfortable with who they know, and you know what I'm saying? It's a good old boys club type shit. You know,
it's like NFL. It's like they run on the same system as like Boscov's. It's the same thing over there. It's just a white owner, white general manager, white cashier, one Black person in a shoe department. It's gotta stop. It's gotta stop.
And you got the Latino janitor. It's like, come on, man, you guys gotta relax with this, okay? It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, man. That's that's why maybe we need more leagues. Is XFL, do they have Black coaches?
That ain't it. That ain't it.
That's not it. They got Vince McMahon endorsements.
That ain't it. You can do all the leagues, and that ain't. You got the Arena Football League and all, but the NFL, the money is already there. Like, they're already solidified. So to how do you get Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
He's the one with the doofy family. I shouldn't say doofy, but the very obnoxious family. Is that the
obnoxious brother that always dancing? Yeah.
Okay.
So like, how do you get him, who's making $50 million, to go make $5 million? You know what I mean? Like,
it sounds like a nice plan. You're like, all right, this is less wear and tear on my body. I've already made not only my legacy professionally, but financially, generation wise, I'm okay. Let me do a nice little, like, less stressful job that's going to be substantially a bit of a decrease in pay, but I still get to have my brain.
No, that's okay. I'm talking about $5 million if they started a new league. Like, you still got to play football.
Oh, well, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
So that's what I'm saying. It'll be hard. It's hard to start a new league. Like, it'd be a lot. You're gonna have to convince a lot of people to take pay cuts. And deal. You don't have as many brand endorsements and deals and things like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, the key, bro, is honestly, you're not going to change these 70 and 80-year-old white men's minds. The only thing that can happen is we need to have more minority ownership. It's the only thing. So we got to come up at proper Ebonics. Me and you need to come up with $4 billion. So you can hire Brian Flores. Simple.
I feel comfortable with that. I know you feel comfortable with that. We haven't ran it by producer Pat yet, but it's something we can discuss after the show. So that's something definitely game for. With that, man, let's get into some suggestions. Let's some prop suggestions. My prop suggestion for this one, man. So on the trip, I discovered that I have a love. I have a love for something that I did not realize that I have a love for. So on downtime on Saturday, I pop on a little bit of YouTube. Obviously, my foot is a little twisted after the whole kayaking incident, so I'm like, let me get a little downtime. Somehow or another, I end up on a playlist for Madonna. Alan, have you heard of Madonna?
Of course.
I too have heard of Madonna, but I've never actually sat down and listened and watched Madonna. Yeah, man, Madonna's got some bangers. Madonna's got some like heavy hitters and like generational, like from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s to like, I think her last big hit was like probably like 2016 or something like that. But like, I don't know, it made me recognize, respect her like icon status a bit more.
Yeah.
But also like the reinvention that she has. Like we look at like a Michael Jackson or like Jay-Z of like, oh, they were able to be consistent and just good throughout the whole time, but they never really fully reinvented themselves in the way that Madonna did. Like if you look at like a music video from like the 90s, like Ray of Light, it's like, oh, all right, this is kind of a cool video. Probably one of the first songs I heard from Madonna as a kid where I registered like, oh, this is a popular song and it's by someone named Madonna. And then you go back a few years to like a Prayer, which is a banger, by the way. Like a Prayer is a banger. Oh my goodness. I've been playing it all week. That's the soundtrack, California. That's a soundtrack right there, Like a Prayer. But you see how different that is. And then you see like Hung Up, which is another crazy one. I just have the utmost respect for her. And then I watched her halftime Super Bowl show that she did when she was like 60 plus doing cartwheels and all that. I rock with Madonna now.
We find out you're a Madonna stan.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Listen,
someone's going to take me there. That's yeah. Listen to that song, man. That's great.
But Madonna is legendary. You know, once you just the first, it needs one name. You know, Madonna. Like it's legendary. You know what I mean? So like I can see that. I mean, I know I'm very familiar with her songs. I mean, I can't find myself just chilling on the beach listening to some Madonna. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. If it's a good suggestion to y'all, if you don't know Madonna's catalog, check it out. It's pretty good. You know what I mean? She's legendary. She's a fucking legend.
Steering in the wrong direction. Sometimes I would. This time I'm not steering in the wrong direction. I love a good female songstress. And it's just taken me so long to recognize that yeah.
So do you think like Madonna is like the Prince of like female music?
I'd say she's up there. Yeah, most definitely. Because like she plays, I was doing some Wikipedia and stuff. One of her starts was like she played instruments for a band along with doing some like modeling, and then eventually she went off and did her own thing. So she has like the credibility for it. I believe she writes her songs. I can't say for sure. She doesn't even need to though. Yeah. For those that are looking for a good starter kit, obviously Like a Prayer I think is a good way to watch that
starter
video.
Kit.
Yeah, watch that video for Like a Prayer. And Madonna, I always thought, Madonna, she's a little cute by man. Especially in that video I was like, whoa. That's my suggestion. Madonna.
Cool. Here's my suggestion. I also got my suggestion from being in Cabo. Yo, we got these massages on the beach, bro. Like it was like it was amazing. I know everybody can't get a massage on the beach, but that was my first professional massage. Really? I think that's my suggestion. I mean, you might have to pay like $100 depending on where you go. Get a massage, get a professional massage. Like we took our clothes off and we like just getting the whole shoulder to feet thing done. You know what I mean? Do the hands, the whole body thing. It was amazing.
This is full body.
Yeah, it was.
Damn,
like
they're getting thighs.
They was getting everything. I was like, oh.
Is this a couples massage, like in a tent outside the beach?
Yeah, it's exactly what it was.
Damn, you want some resort shit with that one? Damn.
But so we were on a resort, but like on the beach and like down on the beach, you had like locals. Like people were selling jewelry on the beach. We got these massages on the beach from like these locals. You know what I mean? So like the one lady was running it and had these two. There's like 4 massage ladies there. You know what I'm saying? It was like 2 different tents. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was cool. But like that's my recommendation, to get a massage, bro. Like people know how relaxing it is, but like until you get it, because that's my first official like massage. I was like, this is amazing. Like it was like 50 minutes of just relaxation that I've never
50 minutes. Damn, you fall asleep during it too? It sounds like I've never had a massage like that, but that feels very much like I can just fall asleep while this happens.
I didn't fall asleep, but I could have. Like it was, yeah, man, it was amazing. I suggested, I highly recommend it. If you gotta wait till your taxes come back, whatever you gotta do, get that, yo. It's life changing. It's like I love getting pedicures. It's like the massage part of the pedicure is like one of my favorite things.
Right.
But this is like 10 times better than that. Just getting a regular massage, yeah.
Oh yes. Like, did you feel comfortable with them like doing hand to hand? Like you mentioned, they do hand stuff. Like when they're like touching your hand, like were you cool with that, or did you just that you're on vacation, let everything?
Even if I wasn't on vacation, I'd been cool with that. Yeah, I don't mind. It's
nice.
You give me a massage. It's not like you're just some stranger on the train. Just grab my hand. You know what I mean? Like, hey, buddy, get your ass off of me. Like, no.
There's I believe I have the right name. Bruce Pratt. You can look this up as well. I think it's called Swedish massage, where it's 2 people massaging you. So like you'll have like maybe you want someone focused on like your legs and then someone focused on your shoulders. The idea of that's like 2 people kind of doing it, which I'm a very ticklish person. So it really depends on the touch, and I think that goes for any sort of like massage place. I think like in terms of you get like an official one and you get someone that doesn't have the right touch,
Yeah,
kind of a waste. Bruce Pat suggests that Swedish massage is one of the most common types of massage you can get. It's performed and energizes the body. Nothing about two people though. Sounds good though.
yeah, bro. They even like flipped us over onto our backs and then like massaged it. Yo, it was
was your penis out?
No, I had my shorts on. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie to you. They ask you, they're like, you want to take everything off? And I was like, no, I'm not. Looked at my girl like, what you doing? And she was like, no.
That's
but no. If I wanted to have it out, I could have had it out.
Oh man, that sounds like an excellent experience. It feels like we're gonna go for segment on this one. I kind of want to get into this too in terms of segue. We're gonna get some goals. The goal for this month, February challenge. I'm deciding to, I'm coming out of hibernation. I think we talked about before. I always go in a little bit of a hibernation throughout November to January-ish. So in order to reactivate myself and also just some good practice, I'm holding myself to write at least one page a day. It doesn't necessarily have to be comedy, but it could be geared towards that. Just write a page today, or per day rather. And I'm finding so far, maybe like 6 days into it, that you end up writing more than a page. Once you're in the rhythm of it, of fulfilling that one page, you more than likely, if you're on a rhythm, you keep going. So that is the goal, to continue that throughout February, page per day, and see what comes out of it.
That's a good goal. So what's today? The 5th?
That's a good question. I think it's like the 5th. Not sure.
So you're 5 days in and you've been sticking to it every day.
Yep. I'm finding doing it in the morning has been helpful too. It's like you're still in kind of a lucid state. Shout out to morning pages and all that. It's a little bit of that. So that's been nice.
What's the reason behind this goal?
I found that and this is standard in terms of my like workflow in terms of around this time of the year, that I wasn't writing as much. And for me, even not even just comedy writing, just journal writing. And that's something that I think is a good exercise. I think it helps me process a lot of things and maybe recognize stuff that I'm not sure about. So it's all, for me, I'm always an advocate for writing. So whenever at a stagnant place, something like this can re-energize it.
Gotcha. All right, so here goes my goal. My goal is kind of like I successfully accomplished the goal, and I want to create another goal piggybacking off of that. So I set up our TikTok.
Wait, did you?
I set up our TikTok the day after we talked about it last time. Like I got on there. We have a TikTok page. People want to follow us. It's Proper Ebonics. Yeah, is it proper _ Ebonics? Doesn't matter. You just type in Proper Ebonics, it'll pop up, right? So we have a TikTok page. That was the accomplishment. Now the new goal is to get on a consistent posting schedule. Like first have to figure out what we want to post. You know what I mean? So that may be the first goal. Like what kind of stuff should go there? You know what I mean? So like that's the goal, figuring out what to post and then eventually coming up with some sort of schedule. Like is it once a week, whatever, but it needs to be content on the page.
And you already know that I'm game for the manufactured dances, choreography of TikTok. I got all my moves down.
That'd be perfect. Listen, it can happen. That'd be perfect.
I didn't realize I'm on TikTok. That's a revelation right there. I thought it was TikTokless this whole time. That changes things.
TikTok Kirk, what they call you.
I saw some of the stuff that you've been posting of like, I saw you'll either have like a screenshot of like a news story or a little bit of a clip from someone else's TikTok and you do commentating on it, which I think we discussed before. I think that could be cool.
Yeah, that's kind of like my style. Like I'm not a fan. Okay, I'm not gonna say I'll never do it, but I'm not a fan of just the copying. So people will take your audio off your video, right? And then like just mouth your video. Like do that all
I have seen that. I feel like that's a major part of TikTok.
Yeah, it's a huge part, and I'm just not with it. Like, I'm just
corny.
I feel like I'm more creative to just be like, hey, that thing that guy said, I'm gonna mouth it and just be super animated. Like,
and then you're getting like 60,000 views off that too.
People go viral off that, but that's not the kind of viral I want. Like, I want people to be like, oh, the thing he said was funny that he came up with. Or the
I
thing
hate that that's accepted. I hate that that's like, I feel like that's something that should be flagged, of like, you're taking someone else's content and just mouthing the words. It's like lip sync battles. Like, you know, people have like fun of like, oh, let's do like air guitar and like lip syncing. Fine. But I don't know if you should be necessarily be able to monetize that, which it feels a lot like that may be the direction that we're going towards.
Well, that was a big thing where a lot of young Black creatives were getting upset because people were just taking like their dances, for instance. Like, most of the TikTok dances are created by young Black people, and
I'd say all dances.
Yeah, essentially. But like, they were giving like praise to the white person that had more followers that did it, and like they even put like a TikTok list out, like top 10 TikTok influencers. It was like 8 white people, and just like, where are the Black? It was like no Black people. It's just like, how can we be so influential with the content and the dances? And they're just copying the dances, but those are the ones that are like, it's just weird. Like,
it's just like the NFL.
It's exactly. Really, they need somebody to sue the TikTok.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I was about to say I don't use TikTok. I now use TikTok. However, on Instagram, you'll see like a little. They'll self-populate these. I don't know, self-populate, more like auto-populate these random videos, like 15-second clips, and it looks like they come from TikTok because it's very much like the persons, they're not talking. It's literally them pointing at captions and mouthing something that either comes out in like in a robotic kind of filter, or you could tell it's from a different source.
You could type you can type the words, and then you can make like the voice read.
I'm always wondering how they get the robot to say the exact thing. That makes sense though. It just feels cheap. I hate to be one of those people. It feels cheap. I don't like that direction. Even if the content is good, like there is one where it's like, watch this little brother give his brother a piece of cake on his birthday, and the little brother gets emotional. I'm like, all right, kind of want to watch that. But then it does the robotic voice thing. And it's like, all right, well, you kind of you spoiled the moment. So I don't care for it. But who knows? Maybe with our TikTok, we'll venture off into that.
We are getting old, Kirk. That's why we don't like TikTok that much. But we are creative and smart enough to come up with something that is good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't follow a lot of the trends online. Never really have. I just did my own thing, and that works because there are people that gravitate towards you because you are different, and you know, it's something unique, and it's not just the same old cookie cutter. Like, let's just mouth this viral clip, and you know, I mean, like, yeah, we can come up with something cool.
Yeah, I feel. I'm going to download the app. You guys share the info with me. I'm curious because that's how I felt on Instagram at first. So I was like, and then I ended up enjoying Instagram. So yeah, I'll have to venture off and see what TikTok has to offer.
You'll like it. You gotta play with it. Like, you gotta play around with it. You'll like it. Like, even if it's the commentary kind of things like I do. Like, I'll just, like I said, I'll screenshot a picture and just talk about the picture. You know what I mean? Like, that's just try to be funny. And you can record from 15 seconds. You can record from 1 second to 3 minutes on TikTok. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna get a nice little 30-minute special. I mean, just like talking about a news story.
No, that's, people do that, and people go crazy. Like, you know, Ryan Davis, the comedian.
Yeah.
So Ryan Davis became Facebook famous because of that. Like, he would just post it side by side, just talk about it in a funny way, and make jokes. Now he's headlining everywhere. You know.
Yeah, and that was a cool. Yeah, because I think he did stand up before too. It wasn't like I think he was doing the internet as kind of like a side thing. And then,
I'm not sure. He might have. I'm not sure, yo. He might have started online.
Oh, interesting.
He hasn't been doing it. He hasn't been doing stand up for 10 years. Because I watched the interview recently. He hasn't been doing it that long. It's longer than me. I know that, but it's not like he's been in the game for 15 years.
I know him from the internet, and then saw that he was doing stand up, and just assumed like, oh, he was someone that was a stand up, and then happened to get famous through Facebook. But either way, it's a cool transition, regardless of which came first, because he's out there, he's killing it. I want to give a quick shout out. I saw Jackass Forever last night, and it was good. That's a shout out. I want to.
I thought you knew somebody that was in it or something.
Nope. It was just a fun time. It was a nice little. So you may have like a gloomy day or whatever, and then at the end of the day, you get to go see Jackass. So that was nice. Yeah. Watch Jackass 1 and 2 the week, just kind of like refresh me. And then I was like, oh wait, I didn't need a refresher. I know what this is. But it was entertaining.
Dope. Do you know who they say has been being a jackass recently?
Which one? Who?
Joe Rogan.
Oh man. Yeah. I have been hearing about this, man. So Joe Rogan, he's a lot of musicians, not a lot, I think like maybe 2 or 3, and then a few other personalities, Neil Young and Joni Mitchell being the 2 prominent ones, requested that their music be taken off of Spotify due to it being the platform that Joe Rogan has its podcasts, and them deeming that it's being a spread of misinformation pertaining to the vaccines and the pandemic. Right. So that's been a big story. I think Spotify complied and did remove the music from Neil Young, and I think maybe Joni Mitchell.
Also, India Irie.
Really? She's in it too?
Yeah, she's seen. That was the one that I seen first, because I don't follow the other people.
I didn't hear anything about India Irie. That's kind of a bummer. See, and there's a few other people. I think there's a few other personalities. What's her name? Brene Brown. The psychologist, kind of motivational speaker. She's another one that she asked she's stating that she won't put her podcasts on there, and she's like certified and has Netflix specials and all that stuff. Right. For me, and I'm very curious your take on Stu. For me, I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast on occasion if he has like a guest on that I like. He had Valentina Shevchenko on not too long ago. Juliana Penna. Shane Gillis is on there like pretty regularly now, which is pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
And I it's a fine show. He has a lot of takes on it that I don't necessarily agree with. But I never really see it as him presenting it of like, this is cold stone fact. And even if it does come across like that, it's like, well, Joe Rogan, he's a media personality.
Right.
Take it with some grain of salt, sort of thing. And there's some things that may resonate with you and some things that may not, and I think that is okay, but it seems that many people feel differently.
Like, I could care less about Joe Rogan's podcast, honestly. I watched one episode ever, and that's because Chappelle was on.
Donald Rawlings.
Yeah, like I don't like that's not my cup of tea. Like there's never anything, like his guests are cool, but like I could probably see his guests elsewhere. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, yeah, I never got into it. I know it's a whole like the white bros, they love him. Like they love him. You know what I mean? But he be out here spreading wild misinformation. Like he out here doing it. What's it? Ivermectin. Remember those, the horse pills? And
yeah, in terms of how he stated he treated his COVID. Yeah, no, I don't know the full details with that, but I remember that. I remember there was also some misinformation in terms of how they presented what he did. So that's another reason why I can't say I fully know.
So for me, misinformation, I kind of related to how Trump was given information on Twitter and they banned him. Like they banned Trump because of misinformation, not a lot of the other things he said, but when you out here affecting the health of others because you have so many people that believe and listen to you, there's things you saying aren't true or are hurting society, get that shit out of here. Like, so if you want to take down the episodes where he's saying things that are misinformation of certain facts about COVID, things like that, I mean, take it down. Like if we was on here like, yo, COVID's not real. You should take fucking you should eat Play-Doh and Play-Doh will reverse your effects, and like just saying stuff like that, we should be taken down.
Play-Doh will suppress your T cell count. So that's something that we do not endorse.
Like you can't take his whole podcast platform. You can't do all that. But like the shit that he bleep out the misinformation. Bleep it out.
So you're saying more a call of that of like not take down his whole show, but ones that are deemed as misinformation or controversial to censor.
Yeah, that's what I think. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I'm not informed so much on what goes on with his podcast. I know it's a huge deal, but like anybody that's spreading misinformation that's harming people, like there are people that are taking pills that are meant for animals, but won't take a shot that's meant for humans. It's just like, what are we doing here? And like he is, putting that information out there and people follow him. So like, yeah, take this, bleep it out, take that down.
I think from what I've seen, for instance, I actually listened to, I didn't make it through the whole thing because he has like 4-hour episodes. On the plane ride back, I listened to an interview he had with Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you're familiar with Jordan Peterson or not, but he's another kind of controversial person. He has a lot of thoughts. So some of them I'm like, oh, that's actually interesting. Some of them it may feel it's a bit more on the kind of ranting side, and then there's some of it where it's like, wow, I don't agree with that sentiment at all. I feel, and I'm not trying to make this like an exceptionalism thing, that you have to be kind of smart with what you listen to. And if you're listening to something, it's okay to question it. So for this instance, the Jordan Peterson interview, there's a few things on there that they're mentioning that I didn't really care for in regards to kind of like transgender rights that I didn't necessarily agree with. I feel like as a consumer, you can make that distinction and kind of and hear their points, but full blown be like, I know that's not something I agree with in any way. And I think that is okay. I hesitant towards the idea of censorship, particularly with something like a Joe Rogan, because I feel like that gears us in a direction of kind of going further into these echo chambers of what we deem to be agreeable with us. Like, should what we listen to be a constant flow of agreeability, or should we have someone like a Rogan that we may not necessarily agree with, but is putting something out there, putting that opposite thought out there? And I feel like with Rogan's case, at least from the episodes I have seen, it's never like a hard, like, this is definitely that. It's more of just like questioning it and putting that out there open for discussion, which I think ultimately is a good thing.
We're not talking about which cheese is best. It's like, I love provolone cheese, even though everybody don't like provolone. You're talking about certain things that are dealing with the health of the world. And like questioning things is a sign that you disagree with the status quo. So like, if somebody's like Halle Berry is hot, I'm not going to be like, well, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Like, I'm not going to do that because I agree. So you know what I mean?
Should the person be penalized for suggesting that though? And obviously it's different, the idea of like someone's body, Halle Berry or whatever, but should someone be penalized for suggesting like, oh, well, I think Susan Sarandon's more my cup of tea?
It should be penalized when the things you're saying are harmful to people's health. That's why they got Trump out of here on Twitter. That's exactly why. He was the president and he got banned from Twitter because he was doing things that were harming people. Like, that's what I'm talking about. You can go and question whatever you want. You can go question if you don't think that like Brian Flores should have an NFL job. Question that. Go ahead. Have a debate about it. But when you have so many people following things that you say that just aren't true, it's just like, why? Like, again, if he believes that, okay, but he's wrong in certain things. Like I say, I don't watch the podcast enough to know what he be talking about, but I just see from what I see. And I agree with the echo chamber thing. You don't want to have everybody thinking the same thing. But I think for certain things you might, like the health of the country, we should all literally be on the same page about everyone just being healthy. Like, that's the problem with America. China don't have these issues because everybody's Chinese. Everybody got the same, we got to do what's best for our people. You know what I'm saying?
Like collective. Yeah.
Right. Like they move as one. America, everybody's like here. And they say that's what's so great about America. You can think how you want. Yeah, but it's also the reason we got a lot of fucking problems. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a double-edged sword a bit.
It is.
I think if we look at the idea of like collectivism, we could also see that having a very much, here's status quo, get on the train for status quo, and we're doing it for the sake of the whole group. I definitely see the benefits of that. I also see the benefits of being able to have separate departments, separate line of thoughts. And I feel, as a country, as America, that's something that we can handle.
You sound like Obama.
I realize as I was saying it.
As a country, Michelle.
As a nation. No, I feel like that's something that it's kind of like in the cloth of what makes the personality of our country, and I think that is okay. Regarding American health and just general health, I think that's something that, regardless of what podcasts you listen to, regardless of what you listen to in the morning and you find enjoyable, I think you have to really depend on your personal healthcare professionals with that. Like if Dave Chappelle had a podcast, he was like, yo, I eat Swedish fish every day, right in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't had a stomach ache in 4 years. I may hear them be like, oh, that's interesting. Am I going to do it? I may talk to my doctor first, be like, hey, what's your take on this? But to like practice that off just a personality, I think it's a little irresponsible from a consumer standpoint.
That's the problem. People are dumb. That's why sometimes you gotta tell them what to think. Because if they don't, they're hearing it from someone who's telling them misinformation. Like, people are dumb. People look at, I know a lot of people that they just worship Joe Rogan. Like, I don't have that much time in my life to watch 4-hour episodes. You know what I mean? Like,
it's nice to go to sleep too. I went to sleep to the Juliana Penna episode. I was like, all right, this is kind of nice. But yeah, sorry, continue.
Listen, man, he do his thing. It's just not my cup of tea. But dumb people exist. There are people that don't have a primary care physician. They don't have a doctor they can ask a question. You know what I'm saying? So all information they getting is from what they seeing from people, regular people. So it's just like, yeah, you gotta be. Freedom of speech is a thing, but there's also consequences. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can say what you want, but if the consequences, people listen to what you say and they are dying, like, you maybe should change what you say, or maybe we shouldn't let you say certain things. Like,
I think I think that part of, like, there is a responsibility that comes with it, especially if you have that many people listening to you. I think to an extent, I think while there may be an idea that people aren't the wisest, and sure, a lot of people don't have primary care doctors and they don't prioritize that.
Right.
I don't know if all of the burden should be placed on someone who's making a move for themselves. Like Rogan, someone that's working for his legacy and his family and doing his creative endeavors. So to be able to suggest that we curb him from doing that because of the collective, I don't know the best way to phrase this, the people not knowing better for themselves. I don't know. I feel like that's more responsibility on people than it is for the person that's putting it out there. But but I do agree in that respect too, that if you have that many people listening to you, it doesn't hurt to maybe have some guidelines yourself. I just don't know if it should all be placed on him.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I think I'm okay. I think that's where I'm at with it. I'm okay with that being out there. I wouldn't want it to be the majority line of thought necessarily, but I just see it as like, okay, well, that's one echo chamber right there, and some of the stuff that comes out of it is fine. Some of the stuff out of it is good. I don't have to necessarily like everything that comes out of it for it to be a thing.
That's the thing. You can differentiate between what's good and what's bad, and you can be like, yeah, that's not cool. Some people can't. They just hear it coming from someone that they admire, and they're like, everything is right. You know what I mean? Like I like Chappelle, but I know when he says something that's crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I got a brain. I can think for myself. Not everybody has that.
Yeah, it's funny enough. That seems almost less like a Joe Rogan concern and more almost a public health concern in terms of like how we take things in, and public education perhaps is a better way of phrasing it. That seems like more of a concern if we really wanted to get to the bottom of that we can address, but that may be a bigger a bigger thing to take up versus just taking Joe Rogan's podcast away.
Yeah, I don't think they should take it away. I mean, a man worked hard to get where he's at. He put a lot of work in. I don't think you should just take it away, but you gotta be careful what he's saying, man. Like, you gotta be careful when especially with that big platform, man. Like, it's a lot of dumb people that follow you. Like,
yeah,
careful what you say, man.
Evidently, Joe Rogan, misinformation is not a factor for you. I've been on a Fear Factor kick recently. There's a channel on Samsung. You automatically get free Samsung channels, and there's one that just plays Fear Factor. And I forgot all about that catchphrase. It was like, evidently, fear is not a factor for you. So I've been saying it to random things.
You know, it's crazy. Like, he was catching less flack for making people eat balls.
I know.
It's so crazy.
Funny way of phrasing that. Yeah.
Right. It's like, yeah, you can make people eat balls, but you shouldn't be telling people what should they be doing with their body.
That's wild, man. Well, we're probably about to dippity dip soon. Do you have any shows you want to plug?
I'm not sure when it's coming out. Yeah, I'm all over the place. You know, guys, just follow everywhere.
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok,
yeah,
Twitter, you know.
Look out for our TikTok.
I'm all over the place. What about you?
I'm same. Yeah, I'm just around right now. I think the one that I could think of, I know somewhere in the beginning of March I'll be in Lidditz. I know you'll be in Lidditz at White Swan in February.
February 19th. Yeah, come to
cool.
the White Swan. Anybody in Lancaster area, Central Pennsylvania, come through. That's going to be a good show.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
Yeah, that room is cool too. So you'll have fun with that. Yeah, we're around Proper Ebonics. Check out the page. If you made it this far, thank you for your dedication, and we care about you. Peace.
Peace.